Hello everyone, and welcome back to Tali's Kitchen. Now today we're going to be making my favorite protein in the whole wide world, and that is fish, specifically tilapia. Now I grew up eating this and I decided I have to show you guys how to get this simple, super delicious meal done. This today specifically here is a fish wet fry, and it pairs perfectly with ugali. Ugali is an East African meal. It's a staple food in Kenya, made from maize flour, and it's perfect. This fish also really pairs perfectly with some green vegetables. Having it with Kanzira today, this was just perfect. So let me show you how to make this simple meal, because it is the best thing you will ever have, to be honest. Let's do this. So I'm starting here with one fresh fish, and I've gone ahead and cleaned this. So I'm just going to begin cutting this into thin stripes so that we can go ahead and salt this. So once you're done, just flip it over to the other side and repeat the same process. Now this is good to go, so I'm just going to go ahead and salt this with some salt. So do add just a minimal amount of salt, because you don't want to oversalt your fish, and make sure at least the fish is fully covered with a little bit of salt, so that then again it's not very blunt. So here, let me just make it simple. Add in some salt to taste, period. So I have my oil on my stove, which is heating over medium heat, and since I'm done salting my fish, I'm just going to go ahead and drop my fish into my oil. Do make sure you're using hot oil. Your oil is very well heated before you add in your fish. And then you do not want to disturb your fish as it cooks. Just let it stay in there until the sides begin to brown, and then that's when we'll flip it over to the other side. So I'm going to start preparing my vegetables here, and I'm doing here one onion which I've chopped down, and I'm just adding here some 2 crushed tomatoes once the onions are nice and golden brown, and we're just going to let this come to a simmer. Once it's nice and boiling like so, go ahead and add 2 beef cubes, or alternatively you can just add in some salt to taste if you don't have any beef cubes, and then just ensure the beef cubes are well crushed in your puree. So just mix everything to combine, and then we're going to let this come to a boil before we add in our vegetables. So I have here with me what is known as Kanzira. I'm not sure what this vegetable is called in English. I don't even know if Kanzira is English or Kiswahili or a local language, but I have here Kanzira. You can use kales or sukuma wiki if you have that, or you can even use the mboga za kienyeji if that's what you have. Just use the same recipe and replace the vegetables. So I'm just going to go ahead and cover this with a lid, and then we're going to let it cook for a while before we turn it. So I've already flipped my fish onto the other side. Remember, like I said, do not disturb your fish in the oil, because it will really break down. So ensure you can see the sides are brown before you flip this over to the other side. You can drop in some oil on top like so, just so that the top part can continue cooking as well. But basically you can just leave this in until it's ready. So I'm going to check in on my vegetables here, and it's nicely steamed down. So I'm just going to go ahead and use my wooden spoon to mix now my tomato puree with all the vegetables. And remember, when it comes to kales and Kanzira, you don't need to cook this for a long time. So this is basically ready to go, and now we can fully focus on our fish. So this fish right here is nice and ready. Look at how beautiful that looks, and it smells incredible. So just go ahead and drain out all the oil. Ensure you drain out as much oil as possible, and then we're going to put this on a paper towel just to dry out any excess oil. Look at that. So we're going to start preparing our paste for the fish. So I'm adding here 1 large onion, some chopped green pepper. You can use any size, half, full, whatever you have. And then I'm adding green chili here, but that's optional if you don't like spicy food. So we're just going to saute this until the onions are nice and golden brown. Now once your onions have begun to caramelize like so, go ahead and add in 1 teaspoon of ginger garlic paste, and then we're just going to go ahead and still use our wooden spoon to make sure everything is nicely mixed to combine. So we're just going to let our ginger garlic paste cook for about 1 minute or so. We don't want it to burn, and then we'll go in and add in our crushed tomatoes. Now I'm going to be using here 3 crushed tomatoes. I can see half a tomato, is it a quarter of a tomato that wasn't crushed, but that's fine. I'm still going to leave it in there, and then we're just going to cook this until it comes to a simmer. Adding here 2 beef cubes, but alternatively you can add in salt to taste if you don't have beef cubes. I prefer the beef cubes because they have a really nice flavor, and it also acts as salt because it has some salt in it. But if you don't have that, don't stress, just add in some salt to taste and you're good to go. Now I'm also adding here about 1 tablespoon of tomato paste, and then we're just going to let this now come to a boil. My tomato there doesn't want to crush down, but it's fine. We're going to give it some time. So I'm adding here now my fish, and it's a bit bigger than my pot, but that's fine. It's still going to be okay, and I'm just going to cover this so that all the steam can remain inside the pot as it simmers. I have added a little bit of water, so do add that if you need to add some water. After about 5 minutes, go in and flip your fish onto the other side, and then we're also going to let this cook for about 2-3 minutes. Remember, our fish is fully cooked, so this is a very short process. So I'm adding here some fresh coriander leaves just to add in that final bit of flavor, and then this is basically done. Making fish wet fry is one of the fastest and easiest meals to make, to be honest. And even the coriander leaves, that's optional. If you do not have that, do not stress. Just having the necessary ingredients there, which is basically onions and tomatoes, and you're perfectly good to go. And some ginger garlic paste, of course, for flavor. So I'm ready to serve here, and I've just added my fish onto my plate. Look at how incredible that looks. Oh my, I don't know. Fish is food for the soul for me. It really speaks a lot of my roots and my childhood. So it's fantastic. So go ahead and serve this with your beautifully cooked vegetables and some ugali. I did not manage to shoot the prepping of ugali, but maybe one of these fun days I will do a video for ugali. But otherwise, I really hope you enjoyed this recipe, and I hope you do try it out, because you will not regret having your fish like this. It is perfect, absolutely perfect. Do consider subscribing if you have not subscribed to my channel. Consider sharing and liking the video. Give it a thumbs up if you really enjoyed this recipe, and I will see you all next time with another amazing video. For now, bye bye.